We're going to go ahead and get started with our Human Resources meeting. Today's date is July 3, 2025. The time is 10 a.m. In attendance are Commissioners Eberline, Duncan, and Matari. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I'll just point out, number one is not technically reclassification, it is a conversion. I don't think that.
Whoever's on the line, can you mute it for a second, please? A conversion?
Yes.
That's okay? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make that a conversion. Any other changes to the agenda?
Nope.
Hearing none. Okay, public comment. Hearing none. First item, number one, conversion, prosecuting attorney. It's an action item. And we have our prosecuting attorney, Stanley Mortensen.
Stanley Mortensen for the record. As the board knows, I've contemplated taking one of my vacant criminal positions and turning it into a civil position for some time. That's what this request is. I'm ready to do that, and so it's budget neutral. It's really just a change in title and job description so that I can post and advertise that position and hire somebody into it.
Thank you. Questions?
Do you think you'll need it before September 1st?
Well, I would like to try to fill it before then.
Okay.
But as the board knows, that this position is frozen right now. I froze that position so that I could fund more intern positions for the summer. I believe all those positions are full. So it's only budget neutral if it stays frozen until September 1st. There's always a chance there's money there to unfreeze it earlier, but I haven't talked to the auditor's office about that. You know, what I'd like to do is post and advertise it and go through the application and interview process. And then if we find somebody, that's their start date. It very well may take that long just to go through that process. So I think September 1st is okay.
Okay, but if you need it earlier, I'm fine with that. I'm sure you have salary savings to cover it, and you can work with the auditor's office to make sure all the numbers work out.
And if we find somebody and we need to do it earlier, I'll entertain that.
Okay. And then I guess I would ask auditor's office, is this, it's not an increase for next year because the position exists. Is that correct?
Oh, it didn't go on.
Brandy
Thanks.
Falcon for the record. I believe this is downgrading a position. However, in order to not have that impact his budget next year, the prosecutor and HR are gonna do a manual workaround in the system so that his next year's budget doesn't decrease. It's gonna stay at an ATP 3 for next year. So
Okay.
at this point, it's not gonna impact
It's
next year.
AT4. It shouldn't be a downgrade.
I show an ATP 3, step 8 downgrade to ATP 2, step 5.
No, this is converting an AT4 criminal position to an AT4 civil position.
Well, then I'd have to talk to HR because that's not what I have.
Okay, and I don't even have a projection
I didn't
at
ask
all.
for a projection on this. To be honest, I didn't think it was necessary. It's changing name and title. That's all this is.
Yeah, just moving one position from an org chart to the other side of the org
Exactly.
chart. Same pay, everything.
Well,
Yeah.
based on my emails with HR, it was something different, so
Okay.
now I've learned.
I've emailed, there's been emails about other things I'm doing, but that's not what we're here for today.
That's not what this item, and this is just converting it from criminal, or sorry,
Yeah, criminal
to civil. What we were doing was for a different
That will be
position.
at a future meeting, because I did get an email.
That was a
requesting
temporary conversion.
Okay, I know I provided a projection for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll go on the consent calendar for a temporary
Oh,
conversion.
so that won't even be at an HR meeting.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Any other questions? Motion?
I move that we approve the conversion of the criminal deputy prosecuting attorney to a civil deputy prosecuting attorney.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Oh, it's not even, they're all off.
Next item, number two, temporary staffing. It's a temporary seasonal position extension. This is with the sheriff's office. And do we have Captain Andy Deek on the telephone?
Yes, Chairman Matari, good morning, Commissioners. Captain Andy Deek for the record. This is an extension of a prior request that the board approved for a temporary position that had been filled for 3 months. We're looking to extend it another 2 months. We are nearing background completion on the full-time candidate. However, we anticipate probably another 2 to 3 weeks for that, and then within a month of training to get them up and going. This former employee that has come back to fill that temporary position is going to be leaving in end of August. So the projection is for 2 months, part-time work, and it's budget neutral, budget savings actually based on the position being unfilled and using salary savings.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you.
Motion?
I move that we approve the temporary staffing extension for the position, let's see, 555-026 and to September 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chair Matari.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is a higher duty pay request with the BOCC. I can just kind of give some background here. We had an employee in our office go on leave and then resign. We have another employee in the office who has picked up the duties of that person, which one could argue are pretty essential for the functions within the Board of County Commissioners. It's been over 30 days, so as per our policy, this is a higher duty pay request to basically provide that employee for picking up these additional duties.
Yep,
Did you want to go
Appropriate.
in? What's that?
it's appropriate.
Yeah. Any question for you on that? No. The only question I would have, and it's just a matter of, should we go to an exempt position? Because that's where the higher duty or the person is, or stay at an hourly position. It's one and a half dozen the other. It's a question of the overtime or not. And so it's just,
As long as it fits within the exemption,
It does.
it's just board discretion, but the practice has been to go to an exemption.
Yeah.
yeah, the problem is that the exempt at the first step is still below the minimum amount, so it would have to be the second step.
That's not what my projection says. My projection says that it's higher than the minimum range of the higher graded position.
Yeah.
So, is that?
So the grade 7, step 9 is a little bit higher than a grade 10, step 1.
Okay,
So if you want to put this person to be exempt, you would do a grade 10, step 2. It would be 8 cents higher, I believe, than the grade 7, step 9 I have here.
okay,
So you could just do a grade 10, step 2 if your goal is to hit the 5% and to make them exempt.
okay. So what does the exempt have to do with step 1 versus step 2?
If it's step 1, it's below the 5%, because the policy says you have to hit
It's 5%,
minimum step of the position they're
Right.
filling in for, or 5% above
Whichever
their
is
current
greater.
position, whichever is greater, and a grade 10, step 1 is lower than 5%.
Okay, because that's not what I'm understanding the narrative to be here. 5% higher than employee's current rate of pay is higher than the minimum of the range.
Oh, no, that's just me explaining what the policy says. 5% higher than employee's current rate of pay is higher than the minimum of the range of the higher graded position. So I'm saying 5% higher in a grade 7 is a higher dollar amount than the minimum of the range of the higher graded position, which is the step 10, grade 10,
Right.
step 1. And so a grade 7, step 9 is higher than a grade 10, step 1. So if you want to make them exempt, you would do a grade 10, step 2.
Okay, that's fine.
It's what?
Angela,
Yeah, that's what it says.
interim and retroactive to 5/19.
Yeah.
So if there are any questions, Commissioner Eberline? No. All right, then I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the higher duty pay request, transferring the person to exempt grade 10, step 2.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye, motion carries. Next up, item 4. This is a temporary staffing request with our Human Resources Department, excuse me. It's an action item. Lexi Pack.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I'm here today to ask for a temporary full-time position for our HR department for up to the next 12 weeks. Starting next week, we will be down,
That made it worse.
we'll be down 2 people in our department, and because we're such a small department, we'll be operating with 2/3 of our staff. We have a previous county employee who would potentially be interested in coming back. She has extensive HR knowledge and county knowledge, so there wouldn't really be any training. She could jump right in and really help us for this temporary period. So just am asking for approval for that position today.
Thank you. Any thoughts, questions?
I think it's necessary. I mean, a small department being,
Well, they've been pretty devastated with events, so
Yeah.
although, you know, some are really good news and others are not really good news, right? So, Commissioner Eberline?
I have no problem with it.
Okay, all right, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the temporary staffing for human resources for at least up to 12 weeks.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye, motion carries. That concludes business. Public comment? Hearing none. 10:12, meeting adjourned.